You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat basement, average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Welcome to CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. All things Michigan from a conservative point of view. I'm your host, Alan Ray. Greetings. It is CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. I'm your humble host, Alan Ray, on KLRN Radio, America's podcast network, July 26, 2020. We have so much to talk about today. I don't know if we're going to squeeze it all into 1 hour. There's so much going on. You would think just in this little boring state of Michigan, there wouldn't be a whole lot, but from Beaverton to Belle Isle, from Bad Axe to Baraga, there is so much happening. I don't know if we're going to fit it all in or not. Right off the bat, news breaking. Tigers win over the Reds in baseball 3-2 with a 9th inning 2-shot home run again. Second day in a row. Let me chase a rabbit for a second before we really kick things off and get it going. I think there's nothing more sad and pathetic than these Major League Baseball games that are piping in crowd noise and are putting actual cutouts of people. It looks horrible. It looks fake. It's so nasty. Just keep the stadium empty. Let them play the game. Have a few scouts there. Social distance some people. Let them do the thing. It's bad enough that we have to shut down the entire planet as it is, but to try to fake it, you don't think we don't know those are cutouts behind the catcher? You think we don't know that the noise being pumped in is just coming from loudspeakers? Why bother? For goodness sakes. I guess if I was the Major League, I would do something cool and just go find official Major League cutout fields that aren't in stadiums, like in these little towns and places like that. Okay, you got a certain footage, okay, we're going to play in your town in this field and just, okay, nobody's invited, but hey, we're in, this small town in Indiana, or we're in this small village in Michigan or Ohio someplace, and we're just playing this game out in a field somewhere because nobody can come. And it looks dorky, have a giant stadium worth millions and millions of dollars, and nobody's there. All right, I've chased a rabbit. I'm Alan Ray. It's CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. Let's get it going. You digging that hippie vibe? I am. Hey, if you're a regular fan of KLRNRadio, well, if you're not, why not? What's your problem? That TV sucks. Just tune into KLRNRadio. I mean, Monday through Friday nights are so much going on. Just tune in. And then tune in on Sunday night for me. I'm hoping to set a trend. I did this on Friday nights. I started a show on Friday nights. In fact, I started 2 shows, and everybody else went, "Hey, Friday nights. We're not doing anything else with this lockdown. Let's make a non-political Friday night." So every other Friday night on KLRNRadio is non-political. I do this for free. Jeff does In the Crease before I'm on. There's Chick Chat. Okay, Chick Chat gets a little political, but oh my gosh, those ladies are a riot. I am almost, stomach is hurting by the end of their show from laughing. They're so funny. And boy, they can get pretty vicious too. It's really funny. I love all of the ladies on Chick Chat. And then after I do this for free, there's Juxtaposition, which is kind of a brainchild of Rick Robinson's. And I accidentally touched it off because I called his other show one night and we talked about UFOs and the Navy releasing all the reports for like 45 minutes. I kind of hijacked his entire show, but he loved it. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to do this all the time." So Rick and Orty do that. So I'm hoping, hint, 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 that we get some people stepping up. And if you have a podcast and you're interested in KLRNRadio, political, non-political, whatever, we got all kinds of stuff. Especially if you're here in the great state of Michigan and you want to say, "Hey, I'm going to jump into the whole Michigan podcast thing," let us know. Get in touch with us. Likewise, if you have an event or a story you want to share on CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan, hit me up on Twitter at TwoCynicAl65. Link me. I don't know, DM me. As long as you're not one of them DMs where, you're one of those fake women that have like 0 followers and follow like 300 people, and they hit your follow button and then immediately put a thing on, "Hey, sexy, hey, big guy." It's like, no. Number one, you're probably a big, hairy Hungarian dude somewhere scamming people. I don't want to talk to you. I'm married, happily married, and I just don't do that kind of thing. So stop it. Anybody else, you got something going on in Michigan you want put out on CIRCUMSPICE Michigan, on the right side of Michigan, let me know. I'll put it on here happily. The only stipulation is you actually have to listen to the show. Yeah, I know we're only 2 shows into it, but the numbers look pretty good. I'm pretty impressed, and we're going to get it going. I'm going to keep pushing it from the great state of Michigan. I'm going to lead off with something that Jeff, who does The Lost Wanderer and In the Crease, he's going to love this. He is going to love this because right now, and this is Fox47news.com, Sterling Heights, Michigan, the Michigan Aerospace Manufacturers Association, otherwise known as MAMA, I love that. Whoever thought that up, I need to shake their hand. Mama announced Thursday that the site selected for a vertical space launch site in a location just north of Marquette. The site selection process has been a year-long effort. Sites were ranked based on several factors: the existing commercial and public infrastructure, geographic and terrestrial mapping, living standards, and workforce development. Operations are expected to begin by early 2025. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is going to be launching rockets. Yes! I'm excited. I've been up in this area, Marquette. I don't know where they're putting it. I thought K.I. Sawyer was south of Marquette, so I don't know what they got going north. There's not a lot north of Marquette. But anyways, the two launch sites in Marquette and Oscoda, along with a to-be-announced command and control center, which I'm gonna go on a limb and assume that that's gonna be the old K.I. Sawyer SAC base that's up there. My brother was stationed there for many years. It will create more than 2,000 jobs. Together, these sites will be instrumental in creating a space ecosystem in that state that is projected to bring 40,000 new jobs by 2025. Okay, that's most of the population of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Good job, guys. And then there was some really good compliments. Michigan has a real opportunity to support a space-based ecosystem, said Gavin Brown, executive director of MAMA. I can't get over that. Sorry, guys. Anyways, the Marquette location will be a critical component, bringing low Earth orbit vertical launch capabilities to the state to meet the domestic and global demand. By integrating sophisticated infrastructure with first-rate human talent, Michigan can be one of the leaders in the space industry. This excites me. It goes on to say that these are hard-working, very industrious people up there. And let's face it, guys, if you live in the Upper Peninsula of the fine state of Michigan, you're tough. You're tough from day one. I mean, they get some extreme weathers. They have mosquitoes as big as bald eagles up there. They will carry you away. The woods up there are just, you can take 10 feet out of your backyard that you're not used to, and you're lost for the next 20 years. I mean, it is just, it is a very, it's beautiful area, but it's a very, very robust environment. I mean, you have to be somebody to be up there and live, and especially thrive like these people do. Congratulations, Michigan's Upper Peninsula. This is well-deserved. Well-deserved. You guys are rocking. And, this means a lot to me, okay? Those of you who listen to the Hardcore Patriot, those of you who listen to I Do This for Free, know in your hearts that I am a space nerd. And I'm not alone in my space nerdishness. Jeff, that does In the Crease and The Lost Wanderer, he is definitely a space nerd. Rick and Orty are space nerds to somewhat of an extent. There's quite a bit of us. And anytime you start talking about, and I get excited about this. This is cool stuff. I never thought in a million years that my home state of Michigan, where I was born and raised and live to this day, was going to be one of the key players in the up-and-coming space race. And you may be new to my show. You may be new to my rants. You may not be. But I'm kind of big on this, okay? If you don't know what's going on, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the news. And I've got chat going. If you're not in chat, why not? You need to be in there right now. GR raised his hand. He's a space nerd too. That's right. He joins the force. There's a lot of stuff in the news. There's politics. There's, Biden, Trump, all this stuff. What you don't see in the background is we are gearing up, not to just go back to the moon. We're going back to the moon to stay. We literally have plans. We are going to build a base on the moon. Now, will we dump a bunch of nuclear waste on there and blow it out of orbit and be like, what was that, Space 1999? I don't know. I don't think so. We learned from that, right? Anyways, no, that's just NASA, okay? That's not Elon Musk over here saying, well, you guys are going to the moon. That's cute. I want to go to Mars. I want to colonize Mars. He's got the money. He's got the brains. He has got all kinds of resources and government approval. Government just loves him to death. He might do it. You've got other space programs, not just here in America, but all over the place, that are just the private space industry is starting to launch, starting to rock. It's cool. This is a great time to be alive. In spite of everything going on, in spite of the chaos, in spite of the riots, in spite of everything you see in the news that makes you just want to curl up in a ball and hide, we are living in great times. You just have to seek out those great times. And it just excites me to no end to realize that Michigan, my Michigan, is going to be right in the middle of this whole thing. It's great. Loving it. Moving on. It's been a hot day. It's been a hot summer. I just before we got here and started doing this show, Ava, my wonder dog, and I, we went for about a 2.5 mile walk. Okay. When I got back, I felt like I run 5 miles. I was sweating like I ran 5 miles. It's warm out there. I don't think it's some record-setting thing. It's summer in Michigan. You can expect anything. Tomorrow we may wake up to 50-degree weather. You just don't know. I mean, we say it all the time. You don't like the weather? Stick around. It'll change. Probably in the next 5 minutes. That's Michigan for you. But anyways, Lake Michigan and Lake Huron have been at record levels for each for a month so far this year. Water levels are expected to decline before they reach the all-time high water mark, though. Great Lakes water levels fluctuate throughout the year, so the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers tracks and records it for each month. So far in 2020, for the first 6 months of the year, each of those monthly mean water levels were a record high based on our period of record that goes back to 1918. And that's from Deanna Apps, physical scientist with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Detroit District. Now, this is from MichiganRadio.org. Lake Michigan and Lake Huron typically reaches its peak season level or monthly mean level in July. So we're at the point where we're likely around our peak, and we should begin to see gradual decline here soon. Now, my wife and I, back in October last year, oh my God, it seems like it was forever. 10 years ago, last October, we spent our 30-year anniversary up in Harbor Springs. Our anniversary is in October, and it happened to be right at peak leaf turning season. Just beautiful. If you ever want to see Michigan at some of its most beautiful, you go to Harbor Springs, and starting at Harbor Springs, you travel north up through the woods, and they call it the tunnel of trees. Oranges, reds, yellows, just beautiful. It's like a 20-mile drive, 25-mile drive, just slow. Don't get in a hurry. 30, 35-mile-an-hour roads, winding all over the place. And a lot of times you come out and you're looking over the cliffs that are out onto Lake Michigan. Well, it was rainy. It was kind of a nasty week. Typical October in Michigan. You could either have sunshine and hot, or you can just have nasty weather. It was still absolutely beautiful. However, Lake Michigan, even back last October, was just violent. I mean, violent. It was angry. And every once in a while, and I remember this happening quite a few years ago, all of my in-laws are from the Ludington area, and they've been in the Ludington area for generations, actually. And I was up there years ago, and my wife's grandfather, and we were like riding around, and he told me that about every 10, 20 years, Lake Michigan gets really high, really angry, and it erodes the shore. And a lot of these people build houses right on these cliffs overlooking Lake Michigan. It's beautiful houses, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And every once in a while, Lake Michigan gets a bug up its butt and takes them all back. It'll claim about, 50 to 100 yards of those cliffs, because they basically are sand. That's all they are. And it washes those houses right down into the water, and away they go. You got to be a special kind of not really smart to build a house right on these shores like that, because Lake Michigan will get violent. Now, it's still beautiful. I don't know. In my world, maybe they should have regulations saying, look, and a lot of these houses, they built these houses and they had a backyard at the time, and the water is basically eroded away. But that's what water does. Water is a very powerful source. If you don't want that risk, don't build on that kind of space. It's kind of cool. And we got Anti-Vodka in the chat. AV, how are you, doll? Love you. Anyways, What else we got going on here? Oh, you're going to love this. During this whole COVID-19, and I know they just shut down hundreds of thousands in Lansing. They shut down hundreds of thousands of unemployment claims just overnight. Everybody was like, what is going on? People were angry. I was angry. And it was kind of crazy. And, but apparently they caught on to something. And quite honestly, I guess I owe everybody an apology for being that angry because, my daughter was one of the ones, she went almost 3.5 months without a single unemployment check, completely broke. But anyways, Michigan unemployment contractor was part of a $2 million fraud scheme. This is coming from Detroit News. A contract employee of Michigan's unemployment insurance agency has been charged after allegedly taking part in a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme during COVID-19 pandemic. U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider says amid record jobless filings in Michigan, Brandy Hawkins, 39, remember that name. She is to be scorned for the rest of her life. Brandy Hawkins, 39 of Detroit, allegedly used her insider access at the agency to fraudulently release payments on hundreds of fraudulent claims, according to an announcement from the U.S. Justice Department. She then used the proceeds of her crime to purchase high-end handbags and luxury goods, the announcement added. Hawkins' actions resulted in the fraudulent disbursement of more than $2 million in federal and state funds intended for unemployment assistance during the pandemic. Brandy Hawkins is charged with exploiting the current pandemic to defraud the state of Michigan and the United States for her own personal gain, Schneider said in a news release. These are serious allegations, and my office is committed to prosecuting any person who attempts to use the COVID-19 crisis to defraud people of Michigan. Good job. Go get her. Put her under the prison. There's a special place in hell for somebody like that. I'm sorry. That is just disgusting. Especially if you're doing it just to go out and buy a bunch of luxury items and live high on the hog. That is the problem with some of these people. You cannot punish her hard enough or put her under the prison low enough in my book. So there you go. She violated federal laws on theft and wire fraud, and the trial cannot be held on felony charges in a complaint. I don't know why that is. Jeff Frost, a special fraud advisor for the Unemployment Insurance Agency, said the agency appreciates Schneider's quick action to bring this case to justice. The Unemployment Insurance Agency will continue to work closely with our state and federal partners to identify unemployment fraud that can be quickly turned over to law enforcement for prosecution. Man, bury this one. That is so disgusting. That really gets my blood stirred up right there. It actually does. I mean, what kind of an idiot? What kind of a soulless moron takes people's money, especially during a time where the unemployment was off the charts? There were so many unemployed people, they couldn't even handle them. And you're stealing $2 million and using some of the proceeds to go out on a shopping spree? Sorry, you're scum of the earth, lady. Scum of the earth. Speaking of scum of the earth, and you know what? If you ever get a chance, look us up on YouTube because it's on there. A Michigan woman was charged with setting fire to an SUV. The Macomb County Prosecutor's Office announced Friday that a Fraser woman has been charged with setting a car on fire after a video shows her apparently filling the SUV with gasoline and then lighting it only to have explode in her face. Sydney Parham, 26, was arrested on arson charges after police said she set a car on fire Wednesday. This is from Fox 2 Detroit. The fire department deputies were called to San Remo Apartments on Union Lake Road for a car fire on Wednesday around 8 a.m. Now, if you watch this, it's funny. It's hysterical. The woman takes a 2-gallon can of gas and she pours it all in the back seat of this SUV. I don't know why. She just did it. Maybe, I don't know. Somebody made her mad. Somebody stole something from her. Who knows? She pours this gas. Okay, now, if you're a young man, or remember being a 12-year-old kid, mostly boys, I don't have to tell you what happens when you pour gas on something and light a match. You learn at a really young age, if you're an adventurous boy like I was, that it's not the actual gas that catches on fire. It's the fumes. It's all of the air around the gas. And so she pours all of this gas in the back of this SUV and then fishes around for a lighter, one of those little long lighters that you use to light your grill, and reaches inside the car, puts her face and everything, reaches inside the car and lights it. It blows her into the next car and she's crawling around in shock and finally gets her senses. And I mean, it was delicious. I mean, it just that part of it, that could not have felt good. That could not have. It just blew her. I mean, you could hear her hit the car. It's like, boom, as she's crawling around, trying to find things, trying to get her stick lighter back, trying to do everything. And then crawls away. And to add insult to injury, it's being filmed. So she didn't even get away with it. Perham has been charged with third-degree arson, which is a felony, and is currently being held on a $20,000 personal bond. She's due back in court on August 5th. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, and, I guess if I was the cop, I'd have to ask her. It's like, okay, did that hurt? Because that looked like it hurt. It looks like there's a Ford sitting next to her. It's like 4 feet away. It blows her from that SUV all the way into that Ford, and she hits it hard. It's like, not only did you get your face blown up, moron, but now you're going to go to prison on a federal felony charge. It just goes to show you that 99.99% of people who commit crimes are just dumb. That's all there is to it. You got somebody out there committing unemployment fraud who thinks they're not going to get caught. They got caught. And then Jeff was nice enough to actually post the video in chat. Absolutely astounding. It's so funny. And then you got this woman trying to set fire to an SUV and blows herself up. Stop being stupid, people. Okay? Stop being stupid. Let's go into this one before we hit the mid-break. The Michigan Senate Thursday approved a spending of $28.7 million from a restricted state revenue fund to purchase land and improve public projects. Senate Bill 145, if signed into law, would unleash money across the state. The money would come from the Michigan National Resource Trust Fund, created in 1984 to develop and purchase public land using funds generated from interest and earnings on state-owned mineral rights programs. So, it's not your tax dollars going to this. It's actually stuff that we're selling, we're making money, and we're buying this. Of the $28 million, $17.2 million would cover 18 land acquisition projects and 60 land development projects costing $11.5 million. The MNRTF amount spent would total $28.7 million, but counting matches from local government entities and private donations may reach $49 million that could flow into projects ranging from Wayne County, Presque Isle, into northern Michigan. So what they're going to do, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. And where is this from? This is from Washington Examiner. What's going on there is Senator John Bumstead, Republican from Newaygo, welcomed the bill in which seeks to spend $180,100 for a 42-mile foot and bicycle trail called the Dragon. So it's going to be projects like this. And I know where the Dragon is. It's basically this 42-mile foot bicycle trail that people they exercise, use as a highway. And what they're going to do is they're going to buy these places and they're going to use this money to put up things like public restrooms and, security and things like that. They're also going to improve the Iron Bell Trail, the Bluebell Beach, a longtime favorite spot for communities. There's all kinds of places. Now, see, I run on basically what they call the Kiwanis Trail. Used to be an old railroad track that ran from Adrian, Michigan to Tecumseh, Michigan. I run that. It's been a while since I've been on it. I'm working back up to it. I'm probably, once we get out of these 90-degree days, I'm going to be back there. But what they're going to do is go in there and buy places like this, especially if they're having, whoever owns them is having problems keeping it up. And they're going to improve on them. they're going to make them more public friendly. And I think they've realized it, and it says right in this article, during this difficult time, when most of our usual summer activities have been put on pause, folks are finding fun in the great outdoors, reminding us that all our parks and trails are a valuable resource to be maintained, improved, and most importantly, enjoyed. Now, I am on this is what government should be doing. Okay? They're not hurting your tax dollars. They could be spending it on other things. Yeah, that's fine. But I encourage people to get out into these trails. Michigan has beautiful trails. And I know we're not alone in some of these places, but to improve on them, to draw attention to them, to get people outdoors, exercising, enjoying the fresh air and the beauty of this state. Okay, you go, guys. Hopefully this is bipartisan. The bill heads to Governor Gretchen Whitmer's desk next week. When we come back from the mid-break, we will be talking about Gretch. Unfortunately, I have to talk about her, and I have to talk about the stupid virus because, COVID and Gretch. I got to do it. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
are listening to CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan, all things Michigan. If you happen to stumble across this show, I air live Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. Although I have to put a caveat in there. Next Sunday night, I will not be doing a show. I'll probably just rerun the first thing. I actually have a gig next Sunday night. I'm excited. I haven't played a live show. In fact, here's the deal. I'm a musician. Those of you who don't know. And I was booked solid. I mean solid. All the way up to the end of July. And I just do a little acoustic duet. And, you know, every once in a while somebody else calls up and goes, hey, you want to sit in with us and jam and blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure, yeah, okay, we'll do it. And I was booked solid till the end of July. And all of it canceled when everything spiked and the lockdown happened. All of it. And there we sat. Now, I part of me is like, okay, whatever. Because I spent a major part of my young adulthood playing. Yes, Jeff, I actually have a live gig. It's going to be in Monroe at the Sandbar, right on Raisin River, with my old band, Lazy River Band, which Lazy River Band, they're from the Petersburg area. They have been around since the late 60s in one form or another. I played with them through the 90s and 2000s for about 10 years before I went back to college. Great bunch of guys. I'm setting in because a couple of them can't make it. So another friend of mine who's a drummer, which I have not played a gig with yet. This guy, it's funny because we have traveled in the same circles of musicians all of our lives. We were both born and raised in Adrian. We traveled in the same circles all of our lives, and we just met each other last year. And it was me and a couple of good old boys that I played music with forever. We were on stage doing a live electric, jam out Southern rock country show. And he got up and did a couple of songs with us, and it's just like, it's funny. I feel like I've known you all my life, but this is the first time I met you. He goes, right. He goes, I know all your friends. I hear about you all the time. And everybody's, hey, you ever hear of this guy? But now we're actually going to play a live show together. I'm stoked about that because he's a great drummer. I've been practicing. I'm getting ready to rock and roll. We're going to do it. So if you're not doing anything and you're in the southeastern Michigan, Monroe area, next Sunday starting at 5 till 9, hit the Sandbar, jam with us. Do it. You won't regret it. All right, back to the stuff. Speaking of things, now before we hit the break, we were talking about, the state of Michigan's going to release some money out of a fund, and they're going to actually purchase and improve on some parks and land and stuff like that. That is great news. But that's not the only cool thing that the Michigan legislation has done this week, okay? Now, this is bipartisan. A bipartisan bill being introduced in the Michigan House of Representatives on Thursday requires the state treasurer to tabulate the cost of the coronavirus outbreak to the state, and we're going to send an invoice to China. State Rep Bo LaFave, which is a Republican from Iron Mountain, tells Breitbart News that the bill, HB 6025, will be filed and assigned to a committee today. Okay, it's an effort in futility. I know it is. And it's probably not going to go anywhere. I highly doubt that the Chinese will go, oh, yeah, well, we're really sorry. We unleashed this pandemic on the United States. So, we're going to pay Michigan to, we're going to pay you guys. It's all good. But the representatives, and this is bipartisan, everybody's mad at China right now. This just shows you that it's not just a Republican thing to be mad at China. This is joined by co-sponsors from both sides of the aisle. And the representatives say the bill's intent is to hold the totalitarian communist government of China responsible for the pandemic they knowingly unleashed upon Michigan and the rest of the world. Lefebvre argues that China knew the virus was spreading throughout its country and lied about it. They threw out journalists attempting to sound alarm bells and implemented a region travel ban but allowed infected individuals to fly into Detroit International Airport uninhibited, he said. Okay, now let's look at this. Take 5 steps back and let's take a look at this, okay? Now, I doubt there will be any money exchanged, but you don't know. Because you have to stop and think about this, okay? China does a lot of business in Michigan. China has a lot of students in Michigan colleges. If we really get a bug up our backsides in the Michigan House of Representatives, we could make these people pay for it. We could hold assets. We could do some things that say, if you want business to go back to being usual, you will pay for the damage you did to our state. So I'm not going to laugh it off just yet and say, hey, this is a cool thing, but I doubt anything's going to happen, because really, if you stop and think about it, and this is why I'm saying this, is the Ann Arbor area alone is a huge research and development area. Not just Ann Arbor, but this whole Plymouth, Ann Arbor, all of that area right in there between Ann Arbor and Detroit. Very, very big on research and development, and a lot of Chinese companies do a lot of business in Michigan, especially with the big three. A lot of the parts that go on your cars, even though your car may say made in America, a lot of those parts come from China. And if China wants to continue to do business with us, they may have to pay some money. This is an interesting concept. I don't know. It's one of them things that I'm going to have to keep track of. Finally, somebody somewhere is doing something right. Now, the only problem that there might come to pass on this is, I don't know, as a state, and we're dealing with a foreign nation, is that going to be legal? Is that going to be constitutional? Can we do that? There's going to be that argument. It's going to be an uphill struggle. However, if this idea catches fire, if this idea catches on, China might have to pay a very stiff penalty or be booted completely out of the United States of America. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's face it. Michigan is having an economic downturn. I mean, this whole lockdown, everything that's going on, and we're going to get into how stupid and how bad it is later. We don't have much time, but I ran across a Detroit News editorial about the COVID era football at Michigan and Michigan State and how much of a far-reaching economic impact it's going to have. Businesses in college towns like Ann Arbor and East Lansing bank on home football weekends for the huge influx of fans who spend money on hotels, restaurants, bars, shops, and even game day parking at local residents or schools. In a normal season, with 7 or 8 home games, the economic impact has been found to be enormous. A study by East Lansing-based Anderson Economic Group in 2007 of Big Ten football games in the state of Michigan found that there were roughly 1.37 million in attendance at Michigan and Michigan State games, and the direct economic impact was 88.7 million in the state's economy. Okay, that's just Michigan State. You have Ferris State, you have Northern Michigan, you have Saginaw, Grand Valley, you have Detroit, you have Adrian College, you have Siena Heights College, who's got a brand new football program. You have Little College, Marshall, you have Albion. All of these colleges dotted throughout all these little towns, all the way up into the UP, Northern Michigan, all of them. Football game days, there's cars lined up all over. Now, during the football game, yeah, there's concession stands, there's T-shirts, there's all this stuff. But before and after those football games, there's hotel rooms, there's restaurants, bars, you name it. Football is big business. And it's not just Michigan, it's everywhere. It's across the whole United States. But think about it. And trust me, I've been working in Ann Arbor for 32, almost 33 years now. I have a newer job the past 3 years, but the job I used to have on game days and we were only 5 miles from the stadium. Game days, 2 hours before and 2 hours after, you just didn't do anything. You didn't go anywhere. You couldn't, because all of the streets were packed. And one day, an old hippie friend of mine and I sat there, and we started writing down what we thought the money that every game generated in just Ann Arbor. And we were up into the $12 million, $13 million range when we just got, our brains started hurting and we just stopped thinking about it. Okay, this was probably 20 years ago. We were off, but not by much. The AEG produced another more recent study on Michigan's football. Now, this is University of Michigan's football impact on Washtenaw County based on the 2013 and determined $12 million per home game is injected into the local economy. Folks, that's a lot of money, and we have shut that down. They go on to say that, now this is me being biased towards Ann Arbor, but they interviewed the owner of Mr. Spots. Mr. Spots is downtown Ann Arbor. They sell, I don't know, they used to sell these cheesesteak hoagies or good stuff, but he counts. You know, it's just a small little hole in the wall, but he does good business, and he counts on those 7 games. They get there at 5 a.m., and they don't leave till 2 a.m. the next morning. That's his big moneymaker, and he sacrifices. He does that, 7 times a year. And he's not alone. There's all kinds of, dotted in Ann Arbor and in Michigan and in Central and in Ypsilanti where, Eastern Michigan plays. All these places that have a university or a big college campus where these places play. And not just Michigan, but I'm just saying the economic impact of shutting these down, you don't realize how bad it is. And there's no guarantee. And then this article goes on to say there's no guarantee that even if they do open up stadiums again, and even if they do say, okay, everybody can just go in, we found a cure for COVID-19, everything's good. How many people are actually going to return to the football games? That's what they want to know. There's marquee football games. There's Michigan-Ohio State. Michigan-Ohio State is huge, no matter whether it's in Michigan or whether it's in Ohio State. Michigan State is huge. I mean, the entire state almost tunes in to Michigan State. Now, this is just football. You get up here in the north, and the hockey is just as good. Now, it's not going to give you 100,000 people like, U of M Stadium does, but hockey season rolls right through that. There's people all over downtown Ann Arbor, all over downtown Lansing, all over Ferris State. You go up to Ferris State, they got a great hockey team. Adrian College, great hockey team. All the way up in the UP. You go Michigan Tech, great hockey team. That also generates a lot of money. Basketball, tons of money. Not just for the school, but for the area. And we have to sit back and think, are we going to keep this stuff shut down because we're afraid to breathe each other's air? Cooler heads have to start prevailing. And right now, unfortunately, we don't have a cooler head running the state. I'm going to go out there and say that. And I can't, I really can't do one of these shows without getting kind of worked up because once again, we've, I don't know. We got a governor that just drives me nuts, number one. She really does. And I thought maybe, I teasingly call her Governor Hubber Mom. Of course, I'm talking about Gretchen Wilson. But I ran across this article in Red State by T. LeDuc. And I follow him on Twitter, so I saw him hit this. And he points out something that's very relative. So on Friday, July 16th, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer issued a COVID-19 pandemic executive order rescinding another executive order which had been enforced for just 4 days. The number of executive orders issued by Whitmer has also generated confusion in some police departments. The Sandusky Police in Sanilac County even issued a press release on the difficulties caused by so many executive orders. How many executive orders? Well, Michigan has had 154 executive orders imposed by Her Royal Highness Gretch. The other 4 Great Lakes states have recorded not near these. Illinois 46, Indiana 36. Ohio 27, Wisconsin 53. We have 154 queenly edicts by Gretsch. 154? Sorry. To me, that shows that she has no clue what she's doing. And not just that she doesn't know what she's doing. If somebody crosses her, she gets spiteful. Because, you look right at that again, and you're seeing things come out now that says, well, we may have to move back to phase 3. It's probably inevitable because people aren't behaving themselves. And now, what is this from? MLive. Of course, MLive. MLive is kind of left-leaning, I have come to realize. They used to be kind of centrist, but I realize, you can't get a whole lot of media that's not left-leaning these days. But Jerry Anderson says he isn't ready to advise Governor Gretchen Whitmer to move the state, Michigan, back to phase 3 of the 6-phase Michigan Safe Start Plan, which featured no gatherings, no in-person education, and limiting non-essential retail to curbside delivery. However, it's not off the table. The chairman of the Michigan Economic Recovery Council said it's probably inevitable that the entire state will need to regress to the flattening phase if residents don't take efforts to reduce the growing spread of COVID-19. Okay. And let's go back to why the growing spread of COVID-19. They're testing a lot more, tons more. And yes, because we have released more freedoms back to you meager little peons from her Highness Gretsch, there's more COVID cases. However, the death rate from these COVID cases is flat. There's hardly any of them. In fact, your chances of dying from a heart attack are greatly more than dying from COVID-19. But nonetheless, Whitmer says we're going to continue to monitor numbers. On July 7th, she said this. If they keep moving up, we're going to dial back if we have to, and that's the last thing any of us wants. Well, that's the last thing we're going to do, Gretsch, because it's about time that everybody just starts thumbing their nose at her and doing what you want. Now, you do have to be safe, but we are reasonable adults. And like I said, a lot of the reason these numbers are going up is because we're testing 10 times more. And does the whole state of Michigan have to shut down because of a few counties? No, they don't. If she had any leadership of ability at all, she should be going to the places where there are hot spots. They know where the hot spots are. Grand Rapids just had a hot spot. Okay, figure out why. Go there. Alan Ray, living out in the middle of southeastern Michigan, the corn and bean fields out here. Why do I have to hunker down, stay inside, not look or look at anybody, not have any gigs, not do anything, because some city across the state is having problems? And I'm telling you, she is not a good leader. I know she likes to think that she's whipping this thing, but she's not. She's definitely not. We went from, well, we need to flatten the curve. Okay, we flatten the curve. We really flatten the curve. In fact, most of the hospital beds weren't even used. We flattened it. But then it went from that to, well, nobody needs to ever get COVID-19. Oh, people are going to get it anyways. It's a virus. People get viruses. And in the meantime, she shuts the entire state down, keeps it shut down, keeps it locked down, even though 90% of the state could do whatever they want to. And she's wailing and crying about the deaths in Michigan that she caused. Most of the deaths in Michigan, she caused. To the point where the Washington Examiner came out and said the Michigan House approved a bill with the stated purpose of better protecting Michigan's nursing home population. Senate Bill 956 seeks to prohibit the admission of COVID-19 patients into nursing homes. Why does this have to be a bill? Why does this have to be discussed? Says the bill requires Department of Health and Human Services working with the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs to evaluate each of the regional nursing hubs' outcome and report to lawmakers by August 15th. Why do you have to be told? Why do you have to be told that you should not put COVID-19 patients in with a bunch of old folks? Why is that a thing? I don't understand. But yet here we go. We have to tell her that. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm just beside myself with that. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you with one thing. And this is check into your own local areas, check into your own places. There's been a lot of discussion lately on concealed carriers wearing masks. There is a law in Michigan that says that if you are carrying a weapon, carrying a handgun, whatever, you cannot wear a mask. It's not what the law says. And I've been seeing a lot of things on social media and stuff like that saying, well, because you're wearing a mask, you can't carry a handgun. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. What the law actually says is if you are doing something nefarious, you are going to commit a crime, you are doing something illegal, and you're wearing a mask and having a handgun, you can get a $500 fine and up to a year in prison. It says nothing about what's going on here. Nothing. So actually, when you hear crap like this, read the actual laws. Read the actual laws. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to social media. Go right on some of these places and look for yourself. Oh, look, I was out slamming my desk and getting mad about Gretchen. I broke my, oh, okay, I got the mouse back up and running again. I knocked the battery out of my mouse. I'm Alan Ray. This is CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. If you seek a more pleasant peninsula, look about you. Fishing report before we go. If you're over in Grand Haven, South Haven, places like that, there's perch. It's kind of hit and miss. South Haven, especially, perch fishing is not consistent. Holland, there's a mix of salmon and trout, 50 to 100 feet down. What do you got? Let's see. Southeastern lower walleye are over at Lake Erie. They're moving deeper because of the heat. Walleye. Oh, Michigan walleye is so good. So is perch. Let's see. Northeastern lower peninsula. You got anglers catching trout and steelhead, Chinook salmon. What else you got? Upper, let's see. Harbor Springs. Oh, I love Harbor Springs. Petoskey area. Smallmouth bass had some luck. Trout, you're having luck. Of course, Upper Peninsula, Marquette, surface water temperatures are very warm for Lake Superior, which is usually like an ice bath, with mid to upper 60s offshore. A few anglers were trying for trout. They were doing poorly. Trout like that cold weather. Drummond Island, there were good catches of lake herring on the north side. Try red or brown teardrop jigs if you're up there. Hunting, hunting hasn't changed. It won't change until September. We'll discuss that when it starts coming up. All right. I'm Alan Ray. This is CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. If you're listening to this, you're not from Michigan, come on up, visit. Yeah, I know I complain about the governor, but she is just one person in a very massively beautiful state. We have a lot of woods. We have a lot of water. We have cool cities. We have blues bars. We have cool places to go, things to do. Come up and enjoy us. If you're here in the state, look about you. You are blessed. You are truly blessed, and make the most of it. Let's leave this state better for our children. I'm going to bug out of here. You all have a great Sunday night. Get some sleep, rise and shine. Got to go back to that job tomorrow morning. In the meantime, God bless you. God bless our great state of Michigan. God bless America. We'll talk again soon.